every time I've been asked to do any kind of nudity on screen, any type of a love scene, I've been lucky because I've always believed in the scene.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks of actors who, when the part calls for it, are ready and willing to be both emotionally and physically naked on camera.
We really had to go all the way if we were going to make this movie, so I was either going to be comfortable doing the scenes or somebody else should do it.
Number 20, Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan might be best known for his role as Bucky Barnes in the MCU.
I wasn't in Vienna. I don't do that anymore.
They're entering the building.
Well, the people who think you did are coming here now. And they're not planning on taking you alive.
That's smart. Good strategy.
However, he's included here because of his Falcon and Winter Soldiers. When he decided to play Tommy Lee in the Pam and Tommy miniseries, he stripped down for a strange moment that was, remarkably, based on an actual account from Lee's memoir. Stan later commented on his decision to do the scene, elaborating on how he appreciated the honesty that his depiction would bring to the story.
And it's actually a very sweet scene because it's a love confession, you know, to some extent. It's
a love confession to his...
Well, he's realizing he's in love with this woman, and he's telling his best friend.
While the most private part of his anatomy was simulated, the bold commitment still required a great deal of the actor's trust and confidence in his filmmakers. It's not his first foray into nudity either, as he's done a hilariously creative sex scene in The Bronze. Number 19, Viggo Mortensen. Not only is Viggo Mortensen not afraid to do a nude scene, he isn't afraid to do one that also requires him to fight two clothed men with knives.
That looked like it was an incredibly brutal scene to shoot.
It was, but it was, I mean, it's David Cronenberg, so you kind of do whatever he says.
Okay, so maybe he was a little scared, or at least a little nervous about shooting that amazing scene in Eastern Promises. But he did it. Just as he also revealed his naked body in all its glory in a much funnier and less knives out scene in the 2016 independent film Captain Fantastic.
We're all animals of the earth.
Close when we eat.
We're not saying that the nudity was a factor, but Mortensen was nominated for a Best Actor Oscar for both films. Number 18, Tom Hardy. Whatever role introduced you to Tom Hardy, there's a good chance you saw him naked. The HBO miniseries Band of Brothers marked one of his first major roles in 2001.
Sir! Where's my stop?
I thought I'd leave it over there, sir.
The part included a love scene that required him to be naked. He's gone the full Monty more than once in both the TV film Stuart, A Life Backwards, and the 2008 prison drama Bronson. Most recently, in the dark period drama Taboo, Hardy didn't shy away from being without clothes either.
Take that dress off.
If the Venom movies ever go for an R rating, Hardy might as well help earn it. Number 17, Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney isn't afraid of nude scenes, but she wishes women who show skin on screen were treated the same as men.
What are you thinking, inviting your grandparents to that? Well,
I wasn't thinking. I was so excited.
And how are they with it?
Up. They said I have the best in Hollywood.
Speaking to The Independent, Sweeney discussed how men who got naked for a role are still praised for their performance. It isn't always the same for women. Discussing her work on Euphoria, Sweeney said, "I thought it was a great performance, but no one talks about it because I got naked." Sweeney felt critics and award groups finally recognised her for The White Lotus, which didn't entail nudity.
It sounds like you scored.
Yeah, he's super hot. Congrats.
Of course, Sweeney has since received an Emmy nomination for her work on Euphoria, so maybe you can strip down and still be taken seriously. Number 16, Mckel Hman. Dutch actor Mckel Hman made a big splash with North American audiences when he took over the role of Dario Naharis from actor Ed Skrein in the 4th season of Game of Thrones.
Are you here to see our queen? She's in a good mood.
A role that, as the love interest of Daenerys Targaryen, required him to spend some time on screen without clothes. He was more than okay with that. Given the double standard women have faced regarding nudity on camera, Hman was happy to be part of the power dynamic role reversal with the Mother of Dragons. Hman said, "Telling a man to take off his clothes, where it's often the other way around, I was happy to be a victim of that."
I hear you had a great love scene, huh?
Yeah. Thanks.
Number 15, Margo Robbie. You know the scene in The Wolf of Wall Street when Margo Robbie's character appears fully naked in the doorway to seduce Leonardo DiCaprio?
I have an entire line of lingerie. You know, camisoles, bustiers, panties.
She designs women's panties too? Oh my God.
Well, if you thought Martin Scorsese had to convince Robbie to be fully nude, you're wrong. Not only did he not have to convince her, the no clothes thing was her idea. The director offered her the option of a robe, but Robbie felt that nudity was the right way to go for the character and the scene.
And it wasn't just about the sex either. Naomi and I got along.
Robbie hates films that have nudity just to get a girl naked, but when it's true to the scene, she's more than comfortable with it. Number 14, Mckel Fassbender. If you're sitting there racking your brain trying to remember when Magneto got naked in X-Men First Class, you can stop.
From what I know about you, I'm surprised you've managed to stay this long.
What do you know about me?
Everything.
Then you'll know to stay out of my head.
That's far from Mckel Fassbender's most revealing performance. For that, we have to talk about his work as Bobby Sands in Hunger and Brandon Sullivan in Shame, both directed by Steve McQueen. Fassbender goes full frontal in both films. While getting naked in front of strangers isn't something he relishes, in referencing the Sullivan character, he has said that it had to be done. It was an essential part of getting inside the psyche.
I'm trying to help you.
How are you helping me, huh? How are you helping me? How are you helping me? Huh? Look at me. How are you helping me?
Number 13, Jennifer Lawrence. In 2014, a hacker broke into Jennifer Lawrence's email, revealing private nude photos of the Oscar-winning actress to the public.
I had just had a lot of insecurities when it came to sexuality and nudity and my body, and I have just been carrying them around for years.
It was a hard time for Lawrence, and one that took her years to come to terms with. Interestingly enough, one of the ways she empowered herself was by doing nude scenes in her 2018 film Red Sparrow. Obviously, it worked because a few years later, she was naked on screen again in the comedy No Hard Feelings, a choice she made, as she told Variety, without a second thought.
Let's go swimming.
Well, there's no lifeguards.
Perfect, we can go skinny dipping.
Oh, no swimming. Oh, we tried.
Number 12, Kate Winslet. She disrobed for one of the most famous nude scenes in cinema history. Being sketched by Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic is just one of the many times Kate Winslet has removed her clothes for a role.
Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. Wearing this.
All right.
Wearing only this.
In fact, it's something she's been doing throughout her career when the role called for it. From 1996's Jude to Ammonite in 2020. Being 43 at the time, Winslet was surprised at how good she felt about filming the nude scenes for the latter. Instead of shying away from her older body, Winslet embraced it, with all of its marks and scars.
I'm really comfortable in my own skin, you know, and I'm comfortable with all the imperfections that I have, and I don't feel a need to hide any of those things because I do think it's very important that women on screen are portrayed as real women.
Number 11, Eva Green. Eva Green is very shy, but you wouldn't know it from her willingness to be nude on camera.
I am so shy, and at the same time I kind of expose myself literally to thousands of people, and you know, this is my body, but I still don't really understand why I do that, and I need to go through therapy.
Even she doesn't understand the paradoxical nature of those two things. But it's been that way since she first burst onto the scene in her film debut as Isabel in 2003's The Dreamers, a role that required her to be naked quite a bit. Since then, she's continued to not shy away from nudity, from Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, to Penny Dreadful, to name just a couple of her emotionally and physically bared roles.
Do I have a choice?
Vanessa, please, you always had a choice. You allowed all this to happen.
Number 10, Chris Pine.
My lord, it's no time to retire to your bedchamber. Please follow me.
Even the most risque nude scenes from the past often have one particular double standard going for them: gender-biased nudity. Specifically, a sex scene might require a great deal more nudity from a female actor than a male. However, actors like Chris Pine are working to change that dynamic, one nude scene at a time.
Alas, we are but king and queen of the May. And tomorrow will come to strip us of our crowns.
Pine and co-star Florence Pugh were both tasked with a love scene in the 2018 Netflix film Outlaw King. Pine, to his credit, bared it all alongside his co-star, yet was surprised at the backlash. He spoke to the Mirror and defended his decision, asking, "Is Florence expected to do that because she is a woman, and I'm not expected to do that because I'm a man?"
So there's a scene in the film where I
Naked.
I bear the do the full Monty.
Yes.
And yeah, that seemed to
Well, yeah.
You go, Chris. Number 9, Ken Jeong.
I have to ask you this, because when you jump out of that trunk in The Hangover, he's fully there. You know what I mean? The full Monty.
The idea behind Ken Jeong's hilarious nude scenes in the Hangover franchise actually came from the man himself, believe it or not. Jeong revealed as much to AOL during an interview conducted back in 2017. Multiple takes were done of Jeong leaping out of the trunk of a car, but it was the actor's pitch to director Todd Phillips that sealed the deal.
This isn't your fault. I'll get you some pants.
Jeong sort of made going in the buff tradition after that, going nude again with The Hangover Part 2 in 2011, proving that he absolutely wasn't afraid to tempt naked fate a second time. Number 8, Lena Dunham.
Sorry, you really scared me, Anna. No, thank you.
The promotion of body positivity in cinema isn't something that happened overnight. It also isn't only part of the big screen either. Lena Dunham helped promote the beauty of all bodies during her nude scenes for the HBO series Girls.
I do a lot of sex scenes in the show, and I'm usually nude for them because unlike so many films we see where women are having sex in like a kind of a perky negligee, a lot of times people get naked to have sex, I think.
I never have, actually.
Meanwhile, the actor, writer and director purposefully defied the accepted norms of who should and shouldn't do on-screen nudity, and wasn't afraid to document her feelings in the press. Her interviews with outlets such as Marie Claire, The Guardian and Refinery29 all point to an actor who was fighting for freedom of sexual expression with her work. It wasn't always an easy road, but Dunham's fearlessness allowed many other artists to tread similar creative paths with less fear.
I'm so confused.
Me too.
Number 7, Jason Segel.
Hello. Hi. And welcome to Annie and Jay's A Night with Annie and Jay. I'm Jay, and this is my lovely wife, Annie. And tonight we intend to demonstrate every position in the joy of sex.
On-screen nudity doesn't necessarily need to be titillating. Case in point, the full frontal nude scene from Jason Segel in the 2008 film Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I got a surprise for you.
This intentionally shocking and very funny scene was actually the actor's idea, proving that he was unafraid of any audience repercussions. Part of the reasoning behind Segel's nude scene was to represent his character hitting his lowest point.
Why don't you just put some clothes on, okay?
I'm not gonna go put clothes on. I know what that means. If I put clothes on, it's over.
The resulting embarrassment at being dumped by the titular Sarah Marshall was described by Segel during a 2015 interview with Vulture as something that wasn't just for shock value. Number 6, Katherine Watson.
Hi, Shasta.
Hi, Doc.
For some actors, on-screen nudity is just one part of the process they go through as performers. This definitely applies to Katherine Watson, who said as much during interviews with outlets like the New York Daily News and the Huffington Post. Her interview with the former saw Watson connecting the vulnerability of nudity with the acting process.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. I wish there was more male nudity in films, however, because men are naked all the time and you never see
Luckily,
it in
that's
film.
never gonna happen.
I just think it's uneven.
Meanwhile, the actor discussed her full frontal scene in the 2014 film Inherent Vice in the Huffington Post, describing the work as liberating and freeing. Sure, not every actor may feel this way, but we certainly admire Katherine Watson's position on a very challenging aspect of the craft.
They told me I was precious cargo that couldn't be insured because of inherent vice.
What's that?
I don't know.
Number 5, Alexander Skarsgard. We're firmly of the mind that Alexander Skarsgård should absolutely reap the rewards of all of his hard work in the gym by doing as many nude scenes as his heart desires.
People are slightly more comfortable with nudity in Sweden, and I also come from a family. My dad and especially his side of the family are old hippies and bohemians, and I think I was 14 the first time I saw my dad wearing pants. So
Skarsgård may come from an acting family, but he certainly blazed a trail on both the small and large screens.
I'm bored. Take off your clothes. A little privacy? Everybody out.
His brushes with nudity may have first entered the cultural zeitgeist back in the HBO series True Blood. But Skarsgård hasn't stopped pushing the physical envelope with his performances. The actor's work on Robert Eggers' The Northman, in particular, showcased a heretofore unseen physicality from Skarsgård that was as shocking as it was sexually charged. Number 4. Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron has seen both sides of the on-screen nudity coin. On one hand, the actor's early work often saw Theron performing in sexually provocative sequences for films like Reindeer Games and 2 Days in the Valley that required explicit nudity. Meanwhile, more recent features like Atomic Blonde saw Theron's nudity being utilised to tell a story, rather than just for prurient titillation.
You pay attention.
I look for pleasure in the details.
It's a respite, a moment of calm in the bath for recovery, during a film that's packed with violent action. Furthermore, Theron has told outlets such as the Daily Telegraph and W Magazine about how she has no issues with nudity if the scene requires it to make sense.
These relationships aren't real. They're just a means to an end.
When you tell the truth, you look different. Your eyes change.
Thanks for the warning.
Number 3. Ewan McGregor.
Take your clothes off. All of them.
There are some actors who just don't feel the need to contextualise or explain away the frequency of their nude scenes. Instead, they relish the thought and lean into those scenes with an almost gleeful zeal. Ewan McGregor has certainly come across this way in some interviews over the years, such as the one he did with Out magazine while promoting Velvet Goldmine in 1998.
We set out to change the world. Ended up just changing ourselves.
McGregor utilised words like power and rush to describe going full frontal on screen, and it's this matter-of-factness that makes the actor's attitude so refreshing. Just maybe don't bet on seeing Obi-Wan's lightsaber for any Star Wars-related media anytime soon.
All right. Well, you owe me one, and not for saving your skin for the 10th time.
9th time. That business on Kate and Amodia doesn't count.
Number 2. Monica Bellucci. Italy's Monica Bellucci is another actor that's performed on-screen nudity with wildly varying tonal shades.
Ti tagliaste i capelli.
Ti piace?
Assai, accostava parecchio peccerese.
The actor's natural beauty has been celebrated in films like Milena or Bram Stoker's Dracula, and even in outlandish exploitation fare like 2007's Shoot 'Em Up.
Wait your turn, Smith. There's plenty to go around.
Not for me, thanks. I'm lactose intolerant.
However, Bellucci has also featured in nude scenes where the plot ventured into truly dark territory, such as 2002's Irréversible.
Le livre dit que... Il paraît que le futur est déjà écrit, tout est là, et la preuve sont les rêves prémonitoires.
The actor has remained professional and unafraid throughout it all, even telling Entertainment Weekly in 2002 that nudity was something magic and pure. Bellucci went on, however, to state her opposition to nudity that she felt was gratuitous, describing her personal attitude as one she cultivated growing up in Europe. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Viola Davis. She was proud of her body and How to Get Away with Murder.
I saw it as an opportunity for a dark-skinned actress of 50 to be in a role that's sexualized, not sexy.
Yeah.
There's a difference between sexualized and sexy.
Ashton Kutcher. No clothes attached in No Strings Attached.
Where are my pants?
I don't know. They could be anywhere. Here's a coffee.
Thank you.
Sharon Stone. Nudity is a basic instinct.
It's nice.
Ana de Armas. You can't be afraid of nudity if you're going to be playing Marilyn Monroe.
She's a prude! Miss Golden Dreams, of all people. Human body is meant to be seen.
Mila Jovovich. From The Fifth Element to waking up naked in the shower in Resident Evil. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Angelina Jolie. The career arc of an actor often takes them in different places as they age.
You resist happiness.
Don't quote some book and try
You
to
don't
analyze
resist
my
happiness.
life. Are you trying to illustrate your point by making me unhappy?
The Angelina Jolie that performed Nude in 2015's By the Sea was not the same person who appeared in films like Cyborg 2, Hackers, or Original Sin.
Christ, you'll be the death of me.
I hope so.
All of those films featured nudity in a sexualized context, performed by a younger actor. Yet, By the Sea also featured a nude Jolie, this time after a real-life double mastectomy. The actor and director told the New York Times how the scene required a nude performance, and how Jolie's personal challenges wouldn't get in the way of her art. This all ties into Angelina Jolie's bohemian and non-conforming dedication to her career.
You're smiling.
Now my outsides match my insides.
Which of these revealing performances do you remember most? Let us know in the comments.
Don't let me down, buddy.
I'm not letting you down at all.
No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking...
Don't let me down.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.